Wow. And the opposite of faith is fear. And
if you don't have faith as a mother, you're gonna be nervous, you're gonna be anxious, you're gonna worry so much about everything. How do you navigate those kind of seasons when your child is doing exactly opposite of what they're supposed to be doing? So you need faith for that. One of the prayers I pray constantly for my children is the Lord heal them of any soul issues that they might be having right now. I don't want to be the reason my children is gonna need therapy. Right? You restore any form of soul damage is a prayer I constantly pray that as they're growing up, because when they show up at the scene of life to become, I want them to be whole, want them to be ready.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Becomerz podcast, where we explore the journeys of zealous and ambitious youths who walk with God. Today, honestly, I'm so excited because we are joined with a very amazing woman who vocalizes motherhood, faith, and radiance. I'm so glad that she was able to honor the invitation and join with us today. And so we are joined with Miss Fola.
Hey, thank you. Yay. Thank you so much for having me on here. It's such a pleasure and an honor as well.
No, thank you so much. How's the weather going for you right now? I know it's so hot.
Well, it's hard, but we know this so well that we cannot complain.
Right?
You just gotta take it as God gives you.
No, because it's really been I think it's by God's grace we've had so much rain so far.
Yes.
You know, and
I've been in Canada for 10 years, and I think this is by far one of the most rainy summer, spring we've had, because it's very dry.
Wow.
Yeah, it's always the plants are not growing well, and the fruits and all of that.
Right.
So we had a lot of rain. We didn't have to wet our grass manually a lot this year. So yeah, that's really something that I'm grateful for. Definitely.
Wow. It's actually really good.
Yes.
Well, we're just gonna jump right in.
Let's do it.
Yes. All right. So Miss Fola, would you mind telling us a bit more about your journey into becoming a mother right now? You're a mother.
Yes.
Mother of three?
Mother of three.
Hey.
And they're 8, 5, and 2.
What?
Wow. They grow so fast.
What? Oh my
I can't believe
goodness.
it. It felt like just yesterday.
Really?
With the first one, yeah.
Wow. Oh wow. And how has it been just raising up these cuties?
It's been amazing. I would say motherhood is a journey. I think motherhood is like marriage, is meant to grow you, right? It's meant to bring out the real. It will show you the real you, and then you have a choice what you want to accept, whether you want to change or you want to continue that way. But for me, I remember when I became a mom for the first time 8 years ago.
Wow.
I still remember the spot I was in our old house. I left the baby upstairs, and then I came downstairs, and then I cried. It was not a cry of it was not postpartum depression. I wasn't depressed. It was wailing.
Oh wow.
It was I was groaning because it was almost as if the Lord at that time had just opened my eyes as to, do you know the magnitude of who you are now? Do you know the weight of this calling and this child that you are holding? Are you even aware what this is going to do to you? So at that moment, one of the things that happened to me was there was immediately a sense of deep respect for my mom.
Wow.
Because I was like, how did you raise 5 of us?
Oh my
How did
goodness.
you do this?
Wow.
So for me, I got married pretty early. I met my husband right out of school. On my first job, that was the year I turned 20. And then a few years later, 2 or 3 years later, we got married.
Wow.
And I remember he would be like, okay, can we have babies now?
Right.
And I'll be like, okay, hold up,
Right.
don't rush me. I love these little ones.
Yeah,
but I did not even know what to expect. That's the funny thing was, I was in my positioning in my family, second to the last child. Now I only had one younger brother behind me, so technically I was a baby. We were sort of raised together.
Yeah.
So I didn't really get to see what my
like,
mother really went through.
Yes.
And also, even the ones I saw, I didn't really take it in. Right, what it meant. For me, we were all just living life. For me, life was probably others for the children, not even the mother and all of that. So I didn't really I didn't think of it too much. The only thing I thought about was, oh, my body, God, I'm gonna, like, will I ever, I just thought that, once you become a mother, you're gonna become fat, and then it's gonna take you years to become skinny again. So I was very superficial about it.
I think that's me right now.
Yeah. And a lot of people like that, just thinking about the superficial effect of becoming a mom. Oh, I won't be able to do this. I won't be able to do this. Or my clothes won't fit. Or my flat tummy is gonna go away. We don't get to think about the actual thing, the calling that you are now being called to being a mother, which is beyond the pregnancy and the birthing. The important is part of the process, right? So for me, that happened, and then I was like, okay, let's have a baby. And then fast forward, we had the baby. I actually remember I was maybe 2 or 3 days before she was born, before our due date. I'm like, wait, I don't even know how to change a diaper. How am I going to become a mom without? Because I never had any nieces or nephews growing up around me, so I didn't get that opportunity to actually experience that and to see that. So I remember I just went on YouTube, how do you change a baby's diaper? And I'm like, oh, it's so easy. You just bring diaper, and then you spread out the flaps, and then you just put it on, and that was it. So nothing prepared me. Nothing in particular prepared me
you for that.
I just felt like, just like a lot of people, you get married, it's like a sequence of life. Like you finish school, you go to higher education, right? And then you finish college, and then you start working. And then you get married, and then you get married, and then the next thing is they're looking at your tummy, babies, right? So it's just a normal progression in life, and I think I just ended up there. It would have been nicer, now that I think about it, if I had some preparation, but I think the Lord in His mercy just decided that I was gonna be an extraordinary mom. I can tell myself I am. I know that I am, because that's what God has called me to be, and that's what I'm working in daily and improving myself on. That's my calling. So for me, that was it. My journey into motherhood, I think it happened like for most people. It was a natural progression, and here is it, this baby. But then that moment when the Lord sort of opened my eyes, that, do you know what this means? It was not, like I said, it was not postpartum depression. I was not anxious. I wasn't worried about anything. It was just more like, do you know the weight of this calling? And I'm like, Lord, am I even able to do this? Who am I? I'm still even figuring out myself, my career, my this, my that. How do you want to trust the life of somebody, and you're telling me it's now my responsibility to steward the gift of this child?
That, oh my goodness. As I'm listening, I'm just learning for myself too, because it's like, when time comes, it's
at the right time.
Right. It's like, how does one navigate all of this? Because it can happen so fast.
It can happen so fast.
How fast did it happen for you?
So we planned it. So my husband and I, we dated, we were friends in Nigeria, and then he moved to Canada. And then the next time I'm seeing him, it was wedding day, literally. So we didn't really get to be with each other. So one of the things we said was that we're gonna have our dating period post marriage. Now we're married, but hey, let's actually date and court each other. Let's see what it means to be like, to go out with each other and all of that. So we did that for about 1.5 years. And also, I felt like I was young. So when I gave birth to her, when it was time to looking back, I thought I was young. But now, I know I was not young. In fact, if I could do it earlier, I would take it. Because you need the energy and you need the strength. And as you grow in life, life gets more busy. You're working more in your purpose, in your calling. And then having little ones at certain times can be a little bit of a challenge, but I mean everything all still works together for your good. So God will always make a way for you to manage it. But so we sort of waited for about 1.5 years, and by the mercies of God, when we wanted to have a baby, the baby came.
Wow.
So
that's so beautiful. When you mentioned how, when you met your husband and how the dating came only after, what would you say to maybe some of us young women who would want to probably date first, and then what's the negative side of that? Date first and then some people even wait 6 years before they actually marry the person that they've been dating.
So here's what I'm going to say to you. I wouldn't say that there is a perfect, you have to know and you have to let God lead you in your specific situation. Because obviously, if you meet your sweetheart or the love of your life while you're in college, you might want to wait to finish college, right? Because both of you don't want to be distracted that way and all of that. But I'm going to say to you that a very elongated or prolonged dating does not mean a more happier or successful marriage. And you might wonder why I say so. Because let me tell you, there are some things you are not going to find out about that person until they're called your husband or they're called your wife. You might date all you want, you might go out all you want, you are still just dating. It is not the same thing. The day you become husband and the day you become wife, now you are under a different oath, you are under a different authority. So now you're now seeing that boy as now occupying the office of the husband in your life, the woman, that girl now occupying the office of the wife, and now you don't have a choice, you have to love her. And you woman, even though you might be older, you might be richer, more influential, whatever, you have to now submit. So there are a lot of things that you will not discover. So I would say the most important thing is you know that person has been called to be your spouse. And then when life and time permits, maybe it's finances or whatever permits, get married. Get married quicker. One of the things I tell people is that the benefits, when the Bible says one would chase 1,000 and two chases 10,000, you're not activating that in dating. You are still two people. You are not. You're still one person. But when you come together and then you become a team, then you can do a lot more. So it's different. And I know you might be like, well, even though maybe we're doing everything together, we're not married. No, the blessing that comes with the marriage is different. So as soon as you find out like that person is for you and time and life permits you to get married, get married and then start living the life and start growing together, because you're just delaying you're delaying some lessons, you're delaying some growth until when you come together. That's what I would say.
That's so deep. I heard someone say that marriage is like discipleship. Is that true?
So here's how I say it. You know, when the Bible says that husband, love your wife as Christ loves the church. Now we know that the church is the bride of Christ. So we, as the church, is married to Christ. So when the Bible says, and why are we here? We're growing. The Lord is grooming the church. He is growing the church. He's discipling the church so that at some point the church can be united with Him. And that's why He says that when we get to heaven, we're going to be blameless. We're all going to be in white robes because we're going to be presented to Him now as the perfect bride. So if you look at the relationship between Christ and the church, and now the same Lord is telling us that husband love your wife as Christ loved the church. So meaning that the husband can be equal to like Jesus, the head of the church, and then the wife is now the church. So meaning that we are in discipleship. Marriage is discipleship. There's so many things you would, if you can, there's so many things that the Lord would want to reveal to you. There are ways that the Lord will want to grow you, and He would reveal it as a flaw in your spouse.
Wow.
Same with your children. I felt like I've grown so much over the last couple of 8 years exponentially because the Lord would reveal some things in my children that would trigger me. Now, if I don't take it the right way, I would say that, oh, that's the child is this, the child is that. No, but a lot of the times I feel like the Lord is teaching me. I've said this before, and my friends, they know that. I said, like, I was trying to teach one of my child how to do something, and she was not just grabbing onto it. And I remember I went to the Lord and said, God, what do I do? What's the strategy to get her to do this? And the Lord said, she is doing fine. You are the one that is not patient enough. So learn patience. So the moment that happened,
even my phone is shocked.
So the moment that happened, I began to look inwards and be like, okay, learn patience. So marriage is discipleship. You're going to have to wake up next to somebody every day, not feeling like the way you felt, like no butterflies, but you're still going to stay committed to them.
Wow.
How is that different from the way God loves us? Hey. If we talk about it, really. When we don't, it helps me to even understand sometimes God's love, because sometimes when we're not doing right, we feel like, oh, God is mad at me. But God expects us to stay in that marriage. He expects us to love, because what He is discipling us and is growing us. So a lot of the times, it's not about the marriage. It's not about your spouse. It's about you. It's about you trying and learning to become all that God has called you to be. So your marriage sometimes is like, I tell my friends all the time that my marriage, my children, they're my ministry. They're like my first, whatever I am doing, whatever I've been called to do, if I'm going to do it on a stage or on a platform with 1 million views, if I cannot do it at home, in my house, it is not true. It is not right. Like, it's just, I am just being hypocritical. So if I want to claim that I would love this, I would do this, I can do mighty things, it needs to start from home.
Charity begins at home.
Exactly. I need to demonstrate love. I need to, all the fruit of the Spirit, essentially. It needs to grow with you from home. Home. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That was so deep, guys. It's like a tears about to drop. Wow. It was so, oh my god, I'm still trying to deep everything. Guys, if you're watching this right now and you don't have a notebook and a pen beside you, please fix
up. Oh my
up.
goodness.
Get yourself a pen, a pencil, and lock in. As you were speaking about like just everything, all I was just seeing, especially with the discipleship and everything, came together with faith.
Yes.
And so now one of my questions is like, was there a specific moment that it was the grace of God in faith that carried you through a hard season as a mom?
Oh, definitely. It's funny you asked this question. So because just last night, I was telling my husband, like, after the hustle and bustle of the day, put the children to bed, I just stood and I looked at him. I said, you know what? It takes faith to raise children. Wow. That was exactly what I said to him. I said, it takes faith to raise children. Wow. And why do I say that? When you don't know the end of a thing, but you constantly show up for that thing, when you don't know the end of a thing, how it's gonna end up, but you just wake up every morning and you're just showing up and you're having faith. And especially when the devil, he has a way of coming at you. So what I've realized as well is that the moment I start to teach my child something, or the moment I'm trying to learn something, it might be an attribute, it might just be a principle, it might be honor, it might be respect, something like that, then an issue comes up that would sort of test them, and then sometimes they will sort of fail that test, that would then make it look like you're doing a terrible job as a parent. Right? But you need to, in those moments, you need to have faith that whatever God has said concerning this child is who they're going to be. You know, when I consider Jochebed, and that is the mother of Moses, right? The Bible said that Moses was born in a time where children were being flushed down the drain, literally, in the flood. But the Bible said that she looked at the son and she said, "This is beautiful."
Wow.
For me, that is eyes of faith, eyes that see beyond what
the circumstance.
That beautiful that she said did not mean that, oh, this baby is cute. I'm sure other babies that died were cute too, right? But she saw something and she had faith somehow that this child would not perish. This child would not die. So she went ahead to do everything possible to make sure that that child will survive. And what is faith, right? Is the evidence of things
we
hoped for, and the actions that we take for things that cannot be seen right now. So another specific example I will share was my second daughter. We're about, I think, 13 or 14 weeks pregnant with her. We did the first scan, and immediately the scan said, "Oh, there is something. We're not sure, but there is something." And it looks like she might have a Down syndrome.
Oh, no.
I remember I've shared that in my book. I shared that testimony. I was like, oh, she might have a Down syndrome and all of that. And that was how we started the 10 weeks of pregnancy, and we went through it all. I was referred to a specialist hospital where we began to, I think I was doing scans like every 2 weeks. As painful as it was, I would leave work and then I would sit there. Sometimes it would take the whole day, only for them to tell me this exact same thing. Oh, yeah, we cannot really say, but then it just looks like it. And then I remember my husband and I, we sat down and we prayed.
Wow.
And it was an attempt of the enemy to abort this wonderful child.
The destiny.
Yeah, the destiny of this child, because at 28 weeks, I think, 28 weeks, if I remember correctly, that was the last time, like that was the last period of time in which you could legally take out the child or something, or safely take out the child. So they called and they said, so have you guys decided what you wanted to do? Are you gonna take out this child, or you want to keep the child? First of all, I'm like, well, I can't take out, I'm a believer,
right.
I cannot abort
the
a
child.
baby that the Lord has given me. But then this baby, she came out, she's perfect. I have never, I mean, like, of all my children, she was the one, I thought she was reaching her milestones so fast. There was no concern. There was nothing with her. But now, if we did not have faith, what the enemy did all through the process was he made sure that we were hearing constantly every 2 weeks that our life was, they would tell us, your life is gonna change. Do you know what it would mean to have a child with this sort of abnormality or dysfunctionality? You can travel. When she grows old, she's never gonna be able to leave the house, and all of that. But we stood firm on the word of God, and we said, God, if you gave us this baby, you gave us, in fact, you gave us a picture of this baby. We knew what she looked like. What was the enemy trying to say? So it requires faith. You cannot. If you don't have faith as a mother, you're gonna be nervous, you're gonna be anxious, you're gonna worry so much about everything. Are they gonna come back from school? Or are they gonna meet a bad friend? Or are they gonna do this? Or are they gonna do that? So faith is being a mother, being whoever we are, being a spouse, is an extension of what God has called us to be.
Oh my goodness.
Primarily, as our primary calling to Him as priests, right? To be priests. So we're supposed to go back to God, and the Bible let us know that these children, they belong to God. So one thing I always say to God, I'm like, God, she's yours. You better deal with her. What is going on with her?
Gosh.
I am a custodian. You know where there's
right, like a
ownership and possession.
Yeah.
God owns owns them. Right
I'm
now,
just a
they're in
steward.
my possession.
Right.
I am to steward them. So I always go back to God. I'll be like, God, you cannot hold me accountable for what you don't tell me about your child that you own. So if you want this, can you reveal to me what should I be doing with her, with him right now at this moment? And for me, that is faith.
Wow.
Faith is just constantly believing that God says, I know the thoughts I have towards you, they're of good, or they'll bring you to an expected end. So, when I see a lot of times parents with teenagers and all of that, and they're getting to this stage where the enemy is so loud in their life, and they're misbehaving and all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you navigate those kind of seasons without faith? How do you navigate those kind of seasons when your child is doing exactly opposite of what they're supposed to be doing? So you need faith at those moments to anchor you and to just hold it down for you, that God, I know when you gave me this child, this is the plan you have for them, and it would come to pass no matter the detour that the enemy might be taking them through right now.
Wow. And the opposite of faith is fear. And that's what the enemy wants. Like, that's like the main attack. He'll try to attack you.
Yes.
If you don't stand on your faith.
Yes. It will question everything God has said to you. And now that you talk about this, I was just, the other day I was meditating about the fact that when we have children, or when a child is born, one of the agenda that the enemy does is to damage the soul of that child before they even become who God has called them to be. So that way, he holds them back from becoming. So, for instance, if a child, let's say you were called to be a model, just saying, a model, you're called to be in the beauty industry, you're called to navigate the beauty industry for the Lord. What the devil would do is, right from when you were born, it would make sure that he inflicts your soul, and it will surround you with circumstances that would damage your soul, so that you start to think self-confidence would lack of self-confidence will go down, self-image will be zero, so that way when you become 18 or whatever, and you're arriving at the scene of life where you're supposed to become, you are not even able to become, because you are now in a deficit. Now let's look at Moses, for example. The Lord has called him, he was going to be a deliverer. But what did the devil do? He made sure he murdered somebody. Now how can a murderer be a deliverer?
Right.
So he inflicted him with something that was gonna hold him down even before he knew what he was going to be. He was just doing life, and all of a sudden he was being a deliverer in that moment, but then he has done something wrong. He is murdered. Now he has a bad name. Now the society looks at him as a murderer. How is somebody like that meant to come back to them to say, now I am your deliverer? They would and that's why shortly after that, what happened? He saw two people fighting, and one of them said, are you gonna kill me just the way you killed that one? He could not deliver anybody at that moment. And that's what one thing the devil does. And it takes faith. It takes faith to be able to see these things for our children when they cannot even see it, that they can actually become.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So I'm letting everything sink in.
I'm learning too.
Wow.
I'm learning too.
My goodness.
So a lot of the times the devil shows up in the lives of these children. So when I look at my child or my children, and if I see any challenge they're experiencing, for me it's a signal to me that is the devil trying to make them become the exact opposite of what God has called them to be. Yes, he will, and that's why the challenges are tailored to them. So for somebody who was, say, you're meant to be in a tech space and nobody needs to see your face, you're just going to be coding up and all of that, you won't have self-esteem issues. No. That kind of child would not have those issues. Usually, it would have another issue that will prevent them from becoming what God. So by the time you show up in the scene of life at 20, you're already at a disadvantage. Your soul is already damaged. And what does the Bible say about the soul? So you can only prosper as much as your soul is prospering. So when it damages our mind, our soul, our belief system, it makes it then very hard to even start to become, because you cannot even see what God is saying. Because when you look at your past record, all you're seeing is all the things you've had to deal with, the rejection and all of the hurt and all of that, and you're carrying all of that, then you cannot become. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's one of the roles as mothers, is to make sure that one of the prayers I pray constantly for my children is, the Lord, can you heal them of any soul issues that they might be having right now, that the enemy is sowing. Because the Bible let us know that while men slept, the enemy sowed. So it's by the mercies of God, right, that they would grow up. I always say to my friends as well, I said, I don't want to be the reason my children is going to need therapy. Right now sometimes it's not just you. They're growing in a community, they're growing with other people, there's family, there's all of that, there is school. So I'm also saying that, God, can you restore any form of soul damage? Is a prayer I constantly pray, that as they're growing up, because when they show up at the scene of life to become, I want them to be whole. I want them to be ready,
armor
and
put
fit.
on.
Not trying to make up for, why am I like this? Because then the devil just puts you in a rabbit hole, and you're going around and you're trying to find healing, and then 10 years instead of becoming, you're healing. You're healing. And healing is good.
It's good.
But you need to have been becoming. Right? And time is of essence in destiny.
Essence.
Absolutely.